Oh, this is my grandson's turkey.
Okay, everyone, we're here for the hearing on the project and additional appropriation hearings. The first item on the agenda for the board is to hold a project hearing on the proposed project. If you're interested in speaking, Sarah, you need to make sure you sign in at the back of the room, which should include your name and address. After a presentation by the administration and its advisors, there will be an opportunity for the public to make comments about the project. At the hearing, we will ask that each person limit their comments, Sarah, to 3 minutes, and that the topic be limited to the proposed project under consideration. The notice of this project hearing was published legally. That's the second page. There. At this time, I will ask Kendra to explain the purpose of this hearing.
Pursuant to Indiana Code 20-26-7-37, before a school corporation may spend more than $1 million to build, repair, or alter a school building that will be financed by a lease or bond, it must hold a public hearing at which explanations of the potential value of the project to the school corporation and community are given. This public hearing and the adoption of the resolutions are the very beginning of the legal process. These resolutions establish the maximum financial terms for the proposed project.
Okay, next up, Kendra will explain about the process of determining and communicating the project in the community and the need for the project, how the proposed project will be financed, as well as information about the effect on the typical property tax payer.
So as you guys know, we had, well, I'll go ahead and skip to the first. This is our debt schedule for the next quite few years. And what happened is you can see that there is RAV grew this year for the 2025 school year. So what that has done, it has freed up a capacity of roughly $1.3 million for us to issue a bond project. With that, we have decided that we are going to reissue or repay back this bond over a 1-year time span to continue with the debt cliff that is coming to leave room for. Oh, you can't use the wireless. Okay. There's a wireless mic.
Right here.
Okay.
There you go, Sarah. There's your answer.
I was gonna say, I can stay right here if you want me to. Okay.
You work on that, I'll work on this.
Thank you, Toby.
Okay.
I'm highly offended, but keep going.
And this will allow for the board to create a plan in place for the maximum amount of dollars moving forward.
Want me to hit that for you?
Okay. There's not very many. So as you can see on this slide, that the projected total tax rate will remain neutral with this project, and we are keeping it at the 1.0026 dollar amount for the 2025 year. And again, this leaves flexibility for future facility needs. It's on the last page. Okay. And on this last page, you can see that the amount of the bonds is a $1,300,000 bond issuance for 2024 that will be paid back in the 2025 calendar year. The estimated cost of issuance is $100,000. Therefore, the estimated proceeds available for hard and soft project costs are $1,200,000. The estimated interest rates are at a 6%. The interest expense will be estimated $71,950. And therefore, you can see that after the debt service tax rate with the capacity and the net impact, it actually is leaving us at a neutral tax rate as where we have been in the past. And with this, our project that we as a team have come up with for this bond would be to issue 2 new school buses and our technology needs that were already planned for the school corporation. So this will help alleviate operation and education fund and be able to be paid back in a 1-year time frame with this bond.
It was important to us in discussion to keep the time frame of payback right on schedule with the debt cliff coming up. All of us know there's a conversation pending around what does that debt cliff look like and what do we do now. And what we wanted to do was to maximize any space at that time so all decisions can be in front of us. And so we do have a quick payback process on this, but that's on purpose so that everything kind of lines up to a debt cliff. And these 2 needs would typically come out of other funds, and luckily that frees some things up for us around buses and tech, which is going to happen anyways. You know, buses and tech are going to happen. So luckily we get to do it this way, which frees other funds up.
Okay, we will now open.
Just a minute, Francis, please. Thank you for doing that, explaining it very, in my terms that I could understand. But that was a very nice presentation. Very well done.
Thank you. We had help from our group at CFL, making sure that tax rates and our debt cliff, all of it was well represented.
Thank you.
Now? We will now open the public hearing. Remember, if you'd like to speak, please sign in on the sheet which is located at the back table. As I mentioned earlier, we ask that you state your name, address, limit your comments to the proposed project and financing. Keep any comments to 3 minutes and avoid being repetitive if possible. May I have the sign-in sheet, please? I'm assuming there are no signatures. Sarah?
Sarah.
Are there any signatures?
No.
Okay. So there are no names on this, and there is no one in the audience. So we should probably. Where are we here? I lost my pages here. Since we have no speakers, Kendra, you want to go over the project resolution?
Mm-hmm. The project resolution is required when the school is planning to spend more than $1 million per building. It contains the estimated hard and soft construction cost and the cost of issuance and establishes the total project cost. It also contains the estimated tax impact.
Okay, please note that there's 0 tax impact with this bond. Okay, can I have a motion to adopt the project resolution?
I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution.
Kevin Kaiser makes a
Second.
motion. Beth or Katie? Beth. Seconded. Okay, all in favor, say aye or raise your right hand.
Aye.
And please note that
Rick and
Jessica Brennan and Rick Gill are not here. The next item on the agenda for the board is to hold an additional appropriation hearing on the proposed board proceeds. The notice of this additional appropriation hearing was published and legally advertised as by law. We will open the public hearing. We ask again that you state your name and address, limit your comments to the proposed additional appropriation of board proceeds. Keep comments to 3 minutes and avoid being repetitive. Would anyone be interested in speaking? Sarah? No? Okay. Could I have a motion and second to adopt the additional appropriation resolution? Kevin,
I'll make a motion to accept the additional appropriation.
seconded? Randy seconded.
Beat you to it.
Any discussion? Okay, well, all in favor? Got a 5-0. No opposition. Could you please summarize the final bond resolution?
The final bond resolution contains the project costs for the project, maximizing maximum interest rate and other financial terms such as the first interest payment date and maturity dates of the bonds.
Okay, could I have a motion, a second to adopt the final bond resolution?
So moved.
Beth?
I'll
Seconds,
second.
Katie? Is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor, raise your right hand. It's 5-0, none opposed. Kendra, could you please summarize the reimbursement resolution?
So the last resolution that we have is the reimbursement resolution relating to the financing of the construction project, which, please remember, this isn't a construction project, it's school buses and technology. This resolution permits the school corporation to reimburse itself from bond proceeds for any cash which it may spend on the project prior to the closing on the bonds. It is required by federal tax law in order to preserve the school corporation's ability to reimburse itself.
Okay, can I have a motion and second to adopt the reimbursement resolution?
I'll make a motion to adopt the reimbursement
Kevin?
resolution.
And
I'll second it.
Katie, if you want. Is there any discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Looks like a 5-0 again. And does that conclude
Yes.
our hearing?
I'll take one moment before we conclude, if that's okay.
Well, we can unconclude it and Dustin will speak then.
I just want to say thank you to Kendra. She's done an incredible amount of work. This is never easy. There is stacks and stacks and stacks of paperwork that goes into this, and she does a fantastic job of that. In addition to her, we have Toby Witt, who has pulled all the quotes together for the tech, has done a great job of pulling that and finding the best deals out there for us. And of course, Brittany McCoy along the way, talking about transportation needs and things that we need. So it's really a team effort. I just want to make sure we take a moment and say thank you, because it's quick here, but it ain't quick there. And I just want to say thank you.
And also thank you to the board members for showing up early for this.
Absolutely.
Greatly appreciated. Okay, that concludes the hearing. We're adjourned for that.
Shannon, would you mind getting the sign-in sheet for this one? Did you already?
Yeah, I don't.
10 seconds.
And there's no sign in.
10 seconds. And go.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the public hearing on the tentative agreement between the teachers and the school corporation for presentation of the tentative bargaining agreement. Mr. Dustin Gehring, Superintendent of Schools.
Well, good evening, everyone. The purpose of this hearing is to discuss the tentative collective bargaining agreement negotiated by the FCCSC and Franklin County Educational Association. The school board is meeting pursuant to Indiana Code 29619A to discuss the terms of the tentative teacher bargaining agreement, which is posted on the school corporation's website. Today is discussion only and is also part of your packet. So with that being said, we want to open up. Do we have anyone here for public comment? Okay, very good. All right, so with no public comments, anything from the board as far as discussion on the tentative agreement, we will bring it back for ratification on Friday.
What time Friday is it?
Friday is 4 o'clock,
4
right
o'clock.
here. And just to the board that maybe don't know this yet, my team will be representing me at the ratification meeting. They're going to do an exceptional job. My wife is having surgery that day, and so I will be with her, and I'm sure that everything will go just fine.
Okay, if there are no comments or questions from the board, this meeting is adjourned.
All right, friends, we have 9 minutes, then we'll
think I have that
Order
down by
the
now.
Board of Education for Franklin County School Corporation meeting for October. If I could get everyone and stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance and observe a moment of silence, I would appreciate it. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, our first item is celebrations, and Mr. Dustin Gehring will present this.
Well, good evening, everyone. Good evening to our board members. We are excited to present two folks up here for some Staff of the Month. We're going to have our first one step up, Ms. Molly Gramiason. Come on up. So this is for you. And then, hold on here. Give yourself a tote. All right, now stay right here. You don't get to leave just yet. All right. Superintendent Dustin Gehring is honored to announce that Molly Gramiason has been selected as October's Educator of the Month. Ms. Gramiason is a sixth grade teacher at Mount Carmel School. She has been educating our students for 10 years, but has been in education for 14. Thank you for being here. Molly received her bachelor's degree in elementary education and special needs from Indiana University. Molly was nominated for this honor by a parent. When asked why Ms. Gramiason should be considered for this recognition, she responded, "Molly welcomed my daughter with open arms into her classroom this year as a transfer student. My daughter says that Ms. Gramiason stands out from other teachers in her exceptional level of patience and kindness. She feels Mrs. Gramiason genuinely wants her students to feel loved, safe, and valued in her classroom, and this shows in how she treats each student. One example of this was when my daughter said she did not know a basic math fact, and instead of feeling embarrassed, Ms. Gramiason said, 'It's okay, take your time, how can I help you?' Teaching sixth graders all day, I assume, would be a difficult task according to the parent. But Molly easily relates to each student with a professional yet comfortable ease. Mrs. Gramiason has shown communication skills between herself and parents to the level of exception. I've never felt as informed and aware as to what is going on in my daughter's classroom as I have this year. At the beginning of each week, Molly sends out a message to parents with a detailed description of what each subject will involve for the week regarding homework and the skills taught. Parents are informed of everything from homework to grades to testing dates to even sports tryouts. She responds quickly to emails and class messages, answering any questions I may have. Molly has excelled in the classroom in her ability to teach all levels of students regardless of the subject, student strength, weakness, and or disability. My daughter has struggled in math in the past, but she's been able to learn sixth grade math skills quickly and effectively so far this year. She's come home feeling like she understood the lessons, is able to complete her homework without much assistance. Most importantly, my daughter says she feels loved and treasured in Molly's classroom. She feels valued. She feels seen. She enjoys going to school, and to me, as a parent, this shows Ms. Gramiason has excelled in many more ways than one in the classroom at Mount Carmel Elementary School. In her free time, Molly enjoys spending time with her family and friends. She has a passion for music, reading, movies, animals, and embroidery. Oh, that's fun. When asked what she loves most about her job, Ms. Gramiason responded, "The kids. It's so amazing to meet and get to know these kids and help guide them on their journey to adulthood. I love watching them learn new things and the look on their faces when something clicks." As we know, the purpose of the Educator of the Month program is to recognize outstanding FCCSC educators who demonstrate excellence in the classroom, leadership in the school, dedication to students, and involvement in the communication. As always, nomination forms are available on the website, but I just want to say one last time, thank you for being on our team.
Congratulations. What kind of embroidery? You got it in your,
With her.
Sure.
you have, you have this in your blood, right?
Thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Okay. Okay, hang on, pause 1 second, Mr. Grimison. Shannon, would you help me with finding Toby and make sure that he knows that we're on? The board has asked if you wouldn't mind introducing who's with you.
Oh, sure.
So if you want to kind of come around this side, probably better.
I have my husband and my 2 sons. Silas is in 5th grade at Mount Carmel, and Jesse is in 2nd grade at Mount Carmel. Can you see Jesse? Stand up.
Well, thank you. Thank all of you. It's a team effort, and I know that, so thank you very, very much. This is for you. And one more time. Let's hear it for it. Come on over. I got to do all the talking. You just get to stand here. This is for you. Okay. And this is also for you.
Thank you.
And more than anything, I want to say thank you for your years of service to us. It's incredible. And we're so blessed.
Thank you.
So blessed. And we wish you nothing but the best in your retirement, but I think you're going to be working harder in your retirement than you are now. All right, let me read this for you. Okay. All right, Superintendent Dustin Gehring is thrilled to announce that Ms. Jennifer Eisen has been selected as October's Support Staff of the Month. Jennifer is a paraprofessional at Brookville Elementary School and has been dedicated to staff for 14 years. Wrapped up this past week.
Yes.
Yes, yes. Don't smile too big, okay? Jennifer was nominated for this honor by a staff member, and when asked why Ms. Eisen should be considered for this recognition, she responded, "Jen has been a wonderful asset to our building. She is pulled in many directions and is always willing to help whenever or wherever we need." I know that to be true as well, because you jumped in that gym with me on
seen me
engagement day.
everywhere.
Yes, it was something, but we did it. She supports our students, but most importantly, supports the teachers she is asked to help the most. I know when she shows up in my room, I can count on her to provide extra support with students and other duties without giving her much direction. She is one of the hardest workers I know. In her free time, Jennifer loves spending time with her family, which includes her husband, 3 daughters, 1 granddaughter, and a grandson on the way. When asked what is the best part of her job, Ms. Eisen responded, "Working with the students and helping them reach their goals is the best part. I enjoy seeing their excitement and when they have succeeded." If you have not noticed, Ms. Eisen has retired from us this past week to go take care of them grandbabies.
Yes.
So just one more time on behalf of everybody, I just want to say thank you for your service, thank you for being here, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, you're gonna use me as the backup babysitter, right? Yeah, I bet you are.
Enjoy those grandbabies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you.
And then come right back over to me and introduce who's with you today.
This is my mom, Virginia, my daughter, Olivia, my soon-to-be grandson, and my daughter, Becky. My other daughter had to have gallbladder surgery today.
Okay.
My husband's at work.
That takes
but-
some precedence, understood.
Yes.
Well, thank you once again. Let's hear it from one more time. What are you doing? So, our staff works incredibly hard. Across all of our buildings, our staff show up every single day for our kids. Every single day. And no matter what the position, they show up and they give it everything they have for our kids, because our kids are special. I've had a chance to get to know our kids over the last few months, and I can tell you, this is a special place. And all of our teachers, every single day, and other staff members deserve a banner. Every single day, they really do. Every teacher in this room and staff member deserves a banner. But every once in a while, you have a moment to pause and say, okay, something special beyond the special just happened. And so we get a chance to celebrate that today. A year ago, you stood here with someone else, speaking of the ability to get above 95% of third graders to read proficiently. In fact, 100%. You and your staff were able to attain a 100% reading proficiency for your third graders. And that's an incredible achievement to do once. And today we stand in front of you, board, with a sign that just not only acknowledges that once again Mount Carmel was able, and the staff is with us as well, 95%, but for a second year in a row, Mount Carmel has earned 100% again. That's for you. Now, I know we have a lot of Mount Carmel staff, and I know every single one of them deserve a congratulations as well. So because we're kind of shifting gears, how about we do this? I'll take that back from you so you can shake some hands. And then the rest of Mount Carmel staff, please join and take a round to shake a hand. I'll meet you at the Wildcat, and we'll take some pictures. Okay? So head on around. So, and our staff of the month, you can be right after that, and then we'll get everybody.
So gracious and so sweet.
Mount Carmel staff, head on around.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Watch out, I'm poisonous.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Good job.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. I enjoy yours
Congratulations.
so much, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, Kyle. We've been
Congratulations.
golfing with him and his wife. I'm joking. Congratulations. You'll take a picture? Congratulations.
I do.
Congratulations.
Okay, don't we?
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Congratulations twice.
All right, get in the picture. We have one person walk away. I don't know if you know how this works. All right, at both of us, big smile. Here we go. Congratulations to you. Miss Ison, would you mind joining with your family members as well? Come on over. Bring friends, bring friends, bring friends.
Liv, do you have a name picked out?
Not that she should.
So we'll start with Miss Ison by herself.
She
and
doesn't
then
wanna
we'll
hear
do family.
people.
Does that sound okay?
Comment.
Right in front of you.
Oh, I did that.
Pause 1 second.
I didn't. I told him. I was like, I don't care what you think. It's my kid.
All right.
Because nobody liked Alexis.
All right, her team, come join, so we have a group picture. Team. Here we go. She's the one big picture. Big smile. All right, real nice. Please step on over. And the team, you'll be right after her. You'll make it famous. All right, members of her team. All right. Big smile.
I don't little one.
Okay, team, everyone is welcome to stay, but we're now shifting to the business side of the meeting. So if you'd like to go, now's the perfect time. If not, stay put. We'll love to have a party. But once again, thank you so much for coming. Thanks for being part and congratulations to everybody. Thank you again.
Did we have anyone sign this?
Did you say?
Thank you, everyone.
So, yeah.
I said, you said yes? Okay, next up on the agenda items are the minutes, the expenditures, and the resignations as presented in your board packet. Is there any discussion? Do I have a motion? Kevin and Brandy? Any, all in favor? 5-0. Okay. Personnel new hires.
All right, so in this list, we have a number of folks that we're just going to read out because it is a short list. There are longer lists today that we may just say as presented because it's a pretty considerable list. But for this one, we're going to welcome Melissa Burton, paraprofessional BES, Kendall Bear, paraprofessional LES, Kenzie Rogers, pending board approval, welcome her to paraprofessional LES, Kylie McPherson, 5th grade teacher at LES, Lisa Payne, cafeteria at FCMS, Ashley Westhider, how did I do on that, Shannon?
You did good.
Perfect. She is going to be a guidance counselor with us 1 day a week at the high school And she already knows that I have future plans for her to join us in the future, but right now she's still finishing her schooling. And so she's with us 1 day a week. And then pending a future decision in this board packet, we'll have Christopher Nobby, thank you, socialist teacher at FCHS. That, of course, is dependent upon another vote further in the packet. Okay, so that is personnel new hires. I'll stop there for Mr. Brumback.
Is there any discussion? Do I have a motion to approve? Katie and Brandy seconded. All in favor? We have a 5-0 vote. Next item will be personnel extracurriculars.
Okay, by precedent, we typically read out our athletic extracurriculars, so I'll read those through, okay? So we have Kurt Rauch, 5th grade boys basketball coach at BES. Brandon Cowan, 6th grade boys basketball coach at BES. Matt Madden is attending 5th grade girls basketball and 5th grade boys basketball. Rodney Ball is pending 6th grade girls basketball and 6th grade boys basketball at LES for both of those. Trinity Tolles is pending cheerleader coach at LES. Kylie McPherson, cheerleading coach at LES. Crystal Vestal will be our website coordinator at LES, pending board approval. Carol Blake will be yearbook at LES, pending board approval. Christy Sheehan is asking for student council at LES. Amber Dunham, art at LES. Amber Dunham, board games at LES. Christy Sheehan, after school club at LES. And Alan Craver, music at LES. And I'll pause right there. And then the rest of these, as you can kind of sense, there's, hold on, I apologize. There's a little bit more of a group here. Let me read these names. Stone Laughlin, Athletics Club sponsored FCMS. Lynn Edwards, head academic team sponsored FCMS. Amy Mitchum, assistant academic team sponsored FCMS. Rachel Dorrell, web page director FCMS. Brad Stacy, athletic director, assistant athletic director at FCHS. Jessica Ward, varsity cheer, assistant coach FCHS. Brett Rauch, volunteer basketball coach at FCHS. Abigail Orshel, freshman girls basketball coach FCHS. Michelle Selm, volunteer gymnastics coach at FCHS. And Alan Apsey, volunteer wrestling coach at FCHS. From there, we have a number of club sponsors and groups. It goes to yet another page. If it's okay with the board, I'll just say with that, as presented, there are quite a few names there with different clubs, groups, and activities, not necessarily athletic related, other ECAs along the way. And that takes us down to Mr. Brumback.
Is there any discussion? If there's no discussion, can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Beth, can I get a second, please? Katie, all in favor, raise your right hand. That would be 5-0 again.
All right, so we have a trip proposal for a field trip for FCMS to Washington, D.C. This one's a little bit of an interesting proposal, but the principal is looking for a little bit of guidance from the board on whether to take a tour bus or by airplane. That is the question that they're also approval for the trip, and then also suggestion from the board on how to travel. My thought is if we say yes to the trip, that we push this right back to the building and let the parents decide what is the best route for travel. How does the board feel? Or does the board have an opinion?
I do have a question. Amy, would you mind answering this? Or I know you've been co-sponsor or something before. How do you feel? Do you feel the bus ride is way too long for the kids? Do you think the plane trip, what's your opinion? How do you feel?
That's not for us, that's for the online, but yeah.
When I first started the trip, long time ago, we went by plane every year, and it was just an 8th grade trip, and it went very well. We had no issues with the plane at all. And then I stopped being sponsor, and Tony Grumman became sponsor. She started doing it every other year, and something happened at that time where it was asked to go by bus. And so then they switched it to the Chicago trip, which I went on almost all these trips anyway, but went to Chicago, and then we moved back to DC, I think around early 2000s. And the bus trip is long. I don't think it's unbearable because now we leave around 1 in the afternoon from DC to get home around midnight. So it's not overnight, where that's really when it affected the kids, is when it was overnight, because they couldn't sleep. They were trying to sleep on the floor. It just didn't work. We do leave around 4 or 5 in the morning to go on the trip as we first take off, and then we get there in the early afternoon. They're so excited, it doesn't really matter. But the problem we had this year was the company we've been working with forever had their price raise $600 just from we just went last year, and I think the kids paid $850 approximately, and this year it's $1450, and it's just, I said no.
And that's by bus.
That's by bus. The company that Adam Hofer uses at the high school, the EF Tours, they don't even offer bus anymore. They say it's getting too expensive, and it's just not worth it for them to try to hire a bus company. They only do airplane. And so that price is about the same price as what the company we were using would go for bus. So that right away told me, okay, I made a right decision on that, just telling them no. And then we looked at another company just to get a second opinion since we were changing companies. And the other company that I gave you the information for is bus, and it's about the same price as we went last time. So Mr. Liggett, I kind of got the opinion he liked the idea of airplane travel, but I'm always concerned because of the price, and I don't want to put it out of reach for parents. I try to do a ton of fundraisers, but some people prefer not to do fundraising. Perfectly fine with me, but I don't want to put it out of that reach for people because we want as many kids to be able to go as possible. We don't want to make that a
A lot
deterrent.
of work. Good for you. Thank you.
Oh, well, that's okay.
It's such a great experience, though. Maddie had went a few years ago on the Washington, D.C. trip, and they took the bus, and it was such a memorable experience, and so many of them don't always get that opportunity. And to be able to go to all the places that they visited inside of Washington, D.C., and I think you guys went to Mount Vernon as well.
And that's one of the other reasons I quit. Didn't want to work with that other company. Go ahead, I'll explain.
No,
that
you're
later.
fine. It was a great experience. So I do see how it's useful and beneficial for the kids because it makes all those history lessons come to real life.
Right.
So
And I don't know what type of agreement the company thought we were in, but they contacted me and said, you are a value group, meaning we got a discount, and our CEOs will no longer allow our value groups to go to Mount Vernon, Ford's Theater, or anything important. And I said, so what do we get to do? Well, you get to see the memorials. I was like, well, what's the point? I mean, we need to go to the Capitol building. We need to go to Ford's Theater, Mount Vernon. Those are the things the kids know. And so I said, they go, well, then it's going to cost you $1,400 to do that. I thought for 3 or 4 things, it's going to cost us an extra $600. So I didn't argue with them. We didn't have a good experience with them last year, and I thought it was just time for a change.
My thought is that if we want to say yes to the trip, that we let the sponsor make the mode of transportation choice according to her family needs. But if you have a different feeling, that's why it's here. If you wanted to make a resolution around how to travel, I turn to you.
First of all, I hope I didn't embarrass you or put something on you weren't ready to talk about. But
Oh, no, that's fine.
thank you very much. I know that you've gone both ways. I just kind of wanted to feel what it was. In my statement, I do agree with Mr. Gehring, Mr. Dustin.
I go by a lot of things.
To let the people that are going on the trip to make that decision. And
Shannon had a good question. Go ahead, Shannon. I'll let you ask your question.
If you use the tour bus to tour all your sites when you get there, if you take the plane, how will you get from place to place?
You do use a tour bus once you get into town, but I don't remember, I think the company even brought tour buses to it's been years ago. I think they brought them to the middle school, and we took the tour bus to the airport, got on the airplane, and then once we arrived at the airport, they picked us up by tour bus again.
So the superintendent recommends that we approve the trip and allow the sponsor to choose mode of operation. That's what does the board say?
Does anyone else have discussion on this?
I'll make a motion to approve the trip in general.
Well, let's hear if there's any further discussion first, because I do have a statement I'd like to make. Our question is, do we know what happens if it's split 50-50, on will that cut the number of kids going down instead of you just presenting a trip?
Well, I mean, based on airplane or bus?
Yeah.
I would think that if it's not a very large majority, that we would go bus, because we want as many kids to be able to go as possible.
Okay. I'm sorry, Kevin, now.
I'll make a motion to approve the trip in general and let the sponsors go back to the parents and have that discussion.
I second.
Katie seconds. All in favor?
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
We have a
Thank
second.
you very much.
And thank you for all your effort. That is a ton. Okay, it's a ton. And thank you for coming back to it as well. Thank you. All right, we have a second trip here. Jackie Barkalow, teacher at FCHS, is requesting permission to attend the FCCLA State Conference in Muncie on February 26th, 28th. Trip agenda is in the enclosure. I turn to Mr. Brumbeck.
Is there any discussion? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Beth and Katie, all in favor? 5-0. We do our financial
Yep,
reports.
we are ready.
Next item on the agenda is the financial reports. If we could get the corporation financial report, please.
Yep. The education fund balance as of September 30th, 2024 was $6,134,863.96. A year ago, this balance was $4,275,160.48. The operations fund balance as of September 30th, 2024 was $3,728,759.43. A year ago, this balance was $774,824.22. The rainy day fund has stayed the same between last year and this year at $1,068,712.84. The investment interest earned year to date as of September 30th, 2024 was $487,515.48. This is compared to $274,659.38 a year ago. I would like to just mention something to the board about the interest earned year to date. We have had some large bonds over the last 2 years, with the reimbursed bond, with the turf project, and the re-roofing project of last year. With the turf project and the re-roofing project, those are coming to a close, and the majority of those funds have been paid out to the contractors or vendors that we have used. So we may see a decline in interest due to those funds being paid out.
Is there any discussion?
I think the last time I asked something about, and I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself and you're repeating your answer, but the rainy day fund, what, did we talk about interest on that, or we can't do that, or what?
So the rainy day fund, it is all in the same, technically it's in the same bank account as the majority of like the education fund. internally, we separate those out. So the funds are receiving a max interest because they are being grouped together in a checking account or at our Trust Indiana. So internally, though, we separate them out
Okay.
in funds. Yes.
Any other discussion or questions?
Are we at a year yet with the trust?
I believe so. Yes. Yep.
Steady?
Yes. Very much. It's actually over 5% still. We haven't seen it drop at all. So holding steady. It's slow moving, either incline, but it's holding steady. Yes.
Any other questions? This was a discussion only item. We'll move on to the cafeteria report.
The cafeteria fund balance as of September 30th, 2024 was $383,350.44. This is compared to $517,586.68 a year ago. The latchkey fund balance as of September 30th, 2024 was $20,753.65. This is compared to $12,130.75 a year ago. And again, with that, I want to inform the board, I have given each latchkey coordinator or person who's over the latchkey a budget for supplies, because as we've discussed before, this is not a for-profit project or group, so I'm trying to make sure that they reinvest those dollars back into the students with supplies and materials for them to be able to play with at the end of the school day.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the latchkey report, I think that for the last 2 months, there's been a negative balance or a negative, why, have they not paid or?
Some people are a little slow to paying at the beginning of the school year. We also have had an influx of help, so more expenses coming out. But we'll see that kind of even out as the year goes on.
Okay.
Happens every year.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? Discussion only item. We'll move on to the resolution for authorization to make budget changes in 2025 as needed. The resolution to transfer from the education fund to the operation fund.
So these are annual items that we do every year. And with the authorization to make changes to the 2025 budget as needed, that is in reference to when we receive our 1782 notice. We always ask in our budget for the max, and what we do once we receive the 1782 notice is we dial it back to make sure that there is no increase of our tax rate, to make sure that we're getting the max dollars that we can out of our funds. So that is what the resolution for the authorization is. The second on this is the resolution to make transfers from the education fund to operations fund. Thus far this year, we have not had to utilize this, but this is something that the state has put in place for us to be able to help out our operations fund if needed. So in the resolution, it does say that we can transfer up to a certain amount in the 2025 calendar year if needed.
And that is sum total $1.5 million, correct?
Yes. So it is, the state allows us up to 15%, and that's where we're at. The 1.5 is a maximum that we would transfer if needed. Like I said, thus far this year, we have not had to make a transfer. That may still be to come before the end of the calendar year, but I will inform the board if that is necessary.
Any other discussion?
Also, sorry, if I don't mind, one of the things, this is not an unusual thing for a school corporation. I believe we work with Stiefel, and Chad Blacklock is our financial consultant, and he does not have any school that has not made a transfer. So this is a very common practice.
Okay, can I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution.
Kaiser motion, second. Brandy Wilson. All in favor? 5-0. The next up is the resolution for the adoption of the 2025 capital projects plan, 5-year bus replacement, and the 2025 budget.
In September, I came to the board with a proposed budget for the Education Operations and Debt Service Fund, as well as the capital projects plan and the bus replacement plan. Tonight, I am asking for the resolution to adopt the 3 plans, the 2 plans in the budget.
Any discussion? Do I
So
have-
moved.
Beth, is there a second? Kevin Kaiser. All in favor? 5-0. Okay, next up is the Public Employee Retirement Fund recommendation.
Tonight, I am asking for a resolution to add the nurse positions to become eligible for our Public Employee Retirement Fund benefit. This is a state-provided retirement benefit that is eligible to public employees. And tonight, I am asking for the resolution to add the nurse position to our covered positions.
Is that the charge nurse of them or just each building nurse?
Each building nurse. It would cover all of them.
Any discussion? Is there a
Yes.
motion?
No, wait.
Okay, we're back to discussion.
We, Kendra, we've had people in the system that have asked for a long time, and they have not gotten it. And just for clarification, were the nurses the only ones that were talked about?
Yes, because the nurse positions are a allowable position under this, because most government, like hospitals, not private, most state hospitals, they allow this benefit, or like our public health department, like our health department here, the nurses are covered under this benefit. This is just to include the school corporation in allow our nurses to get covered so that they can continue that benefit if they had worked elsewhere and had it, that they can continue to their retirement.
Okay, so that's pretty much law then, that they can be covered under the
Yes. Yes.
They're allowed to be.
Yes.
So if we have someone else in the corporation that's asked and denied, and then it would have to depend on what their job was?
Yes.
Whether that was included in the,
Yes, it would be an allowable position to be covered under the public employee retirement fund.
okay, thank you.
If there's no further discussion, can I get a motion to approve? Randy, is there a second? Kevin, all in favor? 5-0. Okay, next up is mileage reimbursement.
Okay, last one that I have for tonight is the mileage reimbursement. I am requesting the approval of a resolution to increase our mileage reimbursement rate to match the IRS reimbursement rate of 67 cents. Currently, we are at 50 cents, and it has not been 50 cents for a very long time. So we would like to match the IRS rate.
That might be
I
good.
landed and said, do what?
Yes, so we would, so tonight I'm asking for the approval of the resolution.
Okay, any discussion? This is an IRS set thing for
Yes.
tax purposes.
And
Guess
this,
we don't get put in jail if we don't do it.
No, but there are different
I
laws
know.
that apply accordingly.
I know, Francis.
This
and
just simplifies.
I'm being funny, Francis.
moving forward,
Not recognized.
moving forward, this may be something that we come every January and renew. But right now, we're just asking, and this may be an agenda item in the near future as well, if it increases.
We're catching up from 1984.
I was gonna say, how long has this been? I bet it's back in the 90s.
I'll make a motion to approve the mileage reimbursement.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Okay, next up is statements from the public and employees. In order to address the board, individuals must sign in prior to the start of the meeting. Individuals that have signed up are given 3 minutes to speak. A maximum of 5 individuals may address the board regarding the same topic or concern. Individuals are asked to avoid repetition and shall not be permitted to use the names of individual employees or students. Who do we have signed up?
We do not have anyone today.
There are no public comments. Are there any employee comments?
No.
None. Okay, old business, we have none. We're to new business.
To the board, we bring the 25-26 school year calendar. Fayette County is typically our driving force behind the decisions here as a part of our career center there. There are a couple exceptions to that, with our conference night being a little bit different, and then also what is identified on here, which maybe has not been identified to the board previously, are flex days. So you have a paper copy of this, and so everything in orange will be, think of it this way, it's the 185th day of a teacher's calendar, and they can choose which of those 3 dates best suits them. Came out of discussions today with the association as I presented this to them, and looking for ideas on how to serve teachers better. And so they propose having the concept of flex, and then I got back with my team, and we decided to move forward with the 3. And the reason is our elementary folks are looking for the first to help them get started. Our secondary folks are looking for the January to get reset for the semester. And then some folks would like to close down the room instead, so they'll just use a day accordingly. So that's how that maps out. I will let the board know that in the future, there will be, I'm going to apply for a flex waiver from the state regarding our 180 days, because if you put us by hours, we are well over the minimum, and that can make us room for 2 professional development days. That application process hasn't started yet, and so as soon as it does, I'll be bringing a resolution to you to propose, and then that will make shifts here, but all that's going to change, it will take 2 student days off the calendar. Those are days that our students will stay home, and our Career Center students will still, of course, go to Career Center. So that is the proposal. Run back.
Is there any discussion about the school calendar? Is there a motion to approve?
I have one question.
Okay.
On fall break, I don't remember a time that it's ever been the last week of October.
Yeah, agreed.
And it's gonna cover, I know this sounds really strange, but a lot of people take vacations at that time. And it's
So,
falling right on Halloween.
I'm with you. So actually, that's a great point. Fayette County and I are in talks around the 26, 27 fall break, because remember, they're the driving force behind how this kind of lays out.
Right.
But we've already had a conversation where I'm hoping to bring it up earlier, even earlier than this year, the week of the 13th. What's not to celebrate about the week of the 13th in October every year? I mean, honestly, it's a national holiday. Superintendent's birthday lays right in there, so that'd be perfect. No, our teachers have asked for that to shift up. But for now, this is what the Fayette County has. So if we don't do it this way, what happens for 5 days, our Career Center kids are, actually for 10, because they have theirs, then we'd have ours. It'll be a weird flip-flop. And so for right now, that's the driving force. But that's a great observation. That's the absolute truth.
But
Wow, somebody
there
had a
is
birthday
there is
yesterday.
an ongoing discussion.
Yes, so I've already been in conversation with the superintendent. This won't change. I don't anticipate that at all. He's also brand new to his county. However, he understands that it's something that we're asking for 26, 27. It doesn't mean we're going to get it, fair, but it is something we're talking about.
Your birthday was yesterday?
It's today, sir.
Oh,
Thanks for noticing.
happy birthday. I got you the same thing I got you last year. So, Is there any discussion? Is there a motion? No motion?
I'll make a motion.
No, good.
Kevin?
And real quick, we're just not gonna have school.
Second.
All in favor? Oh, sure, you raise your hands there. Are you opposing?
Hey, what are you doing, babe? You still
Okay,
concerned about
it's-
the
I am,
October?
I'm concerned with that, but that's okay, that's okay, it has room, yes.
You
I
can
would
vote
love to
against
go
if
for
you
that
like.
calendar.
Okay.
Next up, we have a lighting proposal. It's a pretty lengthy proposal. It's in the packet, and so we won't be going through everything here. But ultimately, the plan will be with these units that will be at the high school and the middle school, interior and exterior, we're gonna see a significant shift in our lighting, as well as safety, and then most importantly, our electric bill. And by proposal, the savings on electric should cover the cost of the construction itself, and within 5 years, we'll be flat back to, I wouldn't say earning money, because electric prices keep going up, but ultimately, it is going to save us quite a bit of money over time. This is a lease-to-own option, meaning that we will lease it from them until it's paid off, and then we buy it from them for $1. And so that's what the proposal is, and that's what's in your packets.
Did I hear you say inside, outside, both?
Yes, inside and outside. So the middle school has a lot of can lights that were put in there
Mm-hmm.
when it was built, and at that time, it was very efficient. Now it's just not. And then you look at our auditorium in high school as an example, they had to take out rows of seats and then bring a crane in to change those lights. This will make us for a much longer lasting light, so we won't have to do that so often.
Why wasn't that done? Why wasn't that done when we did the auditorium?
Wasn't here, ma'am. I don't know.
No, I'm asking.
I didn't do the work either.
I have another question, if we're leasing, then they're taking care of all of the maintenance?
Yes, so they're under warranty.
I can answer you that.
And they would come and have to change all the light bulbs?
No, not the light bulbs, the maintenance will be.
So we would still have to be responsible for that, but they will take care of the maintenance of the equipment.
Under warranty.
The answer was that
When they're
project
getting
was
really good.
specific, Beth, the answer is the project was specific for the auditorium upgrade. So everything was bunched together on that. So they did the upgrade. The fact that it's an LED upgrade will save us energy over time, and it's being done now, so.
I just don't get it.
Well,
It's okay.
it wasn't on the radar at the time. The credits are being offered now. Okay?
Do you remember when we spent all that money? Why wasn't that done?
Okay, so is there any other discussion? Is there a motion? Katie and Brandy, thank you. All in favor? 5-0.
Item C on the list here is Dean of Student position at BES. So I want to give the board a little bit of inside track how this came about. So coming out of discussion last month, I heard loud and clear from our team there at BES that we needed some extra help. Coming out of COVID, we know that the behaviors look different, they feel different, they are different, and that's a really big building. Coming into this position, I early on noticed, wow, this is a big, giant building to be run by one person. That's a lot to take on. And then I started talking to everyone about instructional initiatives that I have for them. And every time I spoke about it, my mind kept going, but how will she do this? How will she do this? That is the volume alone leaves that question. So after discussions last month, which is our time with the association, I went there for 2.5 hours and I just watched. Walked the halls, saw what was happening. Then I got to the heavy hour and it was very clear as day. They need some extra hands that are not scheduled into classes, that could be free to take care of behavioral issues and things of that nature, which then frees up the principal to do some of the instructional initiatives that I'm pushing pretty hard on. And so we began to have discussions about the position. Could we afford it? What does it look like? What happens next? So we posted the position. And so I'm coming to the board first to recommend that we have the Dean of Student position at BES, and then after that will be the person. So right now, we are only voting on the fact that the position would be opened. Mr. Brumback.
Is there discussion?
Is
I-
this
I-
under the CBA or an administrative position?
It is a teacher contract.
The question I had was if this is a position where he could actually go to another building if required.
Nothing would keep this person from doing that.
Okay. Any other discussion? Is there a motion? Not everybody at once, please.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Brandy. Seconded? Anyone? Kevin? All in favor? 5-0.
Leading to the second part, Ms. Jill Brock has requested approval for Mr. Brad Stacy to have a move into the dean position. This will not be a promotion at all. It will be a horizontal move for Mr. Stacy, and this references an earlier request of hire around a social studies position. And so with that, superintendent recommends Mr. Brad Stacy for Dean of Students at BES. Mr. Brumback.
Who was on the hiring committee for that?
Shannon, go ahead.
I was, Miss Brock was, Miss Lambert was, and then there were 2 additional teachers from BES.
Okay. And you guys came to consensus that it
We
was
did.
Brad?
It was a 5-0.
How many?
There were 5 of us.
No,
How many did we interview? We interviewed 4, 2 internal and 2 external.
Do we have a job description?
We do.
We
does
just-
exist.
We just voted for it.
The job description is actually a job description that existed before for others that have been a dean, and so that also is in there, in the packet.
And how many applicants did we have for that position, do you know?
That were qualified, we interviewed all 4.
Okay, so there were 4 qualified.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Can I have a motion, please? Katie, is there a second? Is there a second?
I'll make a second.
Kevin made the second. All in favor? Raise your hand. 5-0. Okay, next up is other, which we have nothing. Now we move on to the superintendent's report.
And I'll be brief. I know I can be kind of long-winded sometimes, but I do like to keep the board informed as much as I can on a couple of things. First off, as all of you know, we made it past the October count, getting above 1,900, which is a huge win in my mind because it puts a lot of things where they need to be around choices. Yes, this board is going to have to make some choices, and none of it's going to be easy, but I'd rather we made that decision, not the state. And I certainly don't want to spend a year fighting the state about why their rule is goofy and talks about how many minutes does it take to drive somewhere and all those things. So I'm really glad that we get to have an opportunity to do that work. Doesn't mean the work's done, but it's just one chapter, and now we're on to the next one. I want to make the board aware that we have all of our administrators have gone through the ALIS training. I mentioned that the last time we met. That has been finished. And as I came into this position, we talked a lot about my desperation to have all of our folks trained, and that has been accomplished. I have 1 building left to train the rest of the staff in that type of thinking. The other 2 trainings have gone remarkably well, also here at central office as well. And so we're really seeing eyes opened in this concept of what to do in those crisis moments and the way to think. So I'm very proud of our team and the work that's been accomplished there. And a big shout out to Alice as an organization under Navigate 360 for working with us on the reschedule after the plane debacle happened, and we got this done. Lastly, from me, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's on the negotiations team. No one likes to be in negotiations. No one enjoys those moments. But we were able to sit down as a team, come to a conclusion, and it was done professionally, and I'm very thankful for everyone that was a part of that team and that we were able to accomplish that in just a couple meetings. Not that that's the measure of success. The measure of success is, do you have an agreement? How long it takes is not the measure of success, but just the same. I am very thankful that we were able to do that work and have those discussions, and often it leads to further connections around things that came up in the meetings and those type of things. So I'm very thankful for everyone that were willing to have patience with me, as it was my first time here. And so there were some things that I was going very slow through to make sure that we did it right. And other times I wanted to make sure I asked the right questions, and they're probably thinking, come on, get on with it. But I wanted to make sure we did everything the right way. And we did. So that's good. And so we have our meeting on Friday to ratify as you see fit, and then we'll go from there. Mr. Brumback.
Are there any questions for Mr. Gehring on those subjects? Okay, if not, we're up to legislative update. Do we have anything, Kevin?
Not necessarily legislative, but I just wanted to let everyone know that myself, Brandy, Katie, and Mr. Gearing all attended the fall ISBA conference a few weeks ago. I'll let them speak if they want to on anything they attended as far as conferences. There's vendors to speak with, several conferences throughout both days. I did attend one for issues on capital projects, which was, I won't say uninformative, but interesting to see multiple slides that just said no changes in 2024. So I questioned why we were sitting there sometimes. Another one that I enjoyed, it was called the ROI of culture. Had some interesting things that I will probably forward on to Shannon and Dustin. But Brandy, Katie, if anybody has anything they want to say about it.
What does ROI stand for?
Return on investment.
Internal investment.
Return
Oh,
on investment.
return.
ROI of culture.
Okay.
Did anyone else attend different?
I attended one on TIF that was a little bit different than the two that, because Katie and I had attended some together. And it was very informative. I actually learned quite a bit, and it was nice because we broke down and had conversations with other board members who also experienced TIF districts in their counties, and just listening to them talk and how there are schools that have somewhat, not really capitalized, but learned to work with TIFs to find benefits for themselves. So it was informational.
In my discussions with other board presidents, TIF kind of carries a negative overtone.
That is correct.
So it's good that you have something that came positive out of it. Katie, you got anything?
I attended one that Brandy and I weren't together with, and it was on a book study that I had done 2 weeks prior to that. They had sent out the group ahead of time so that you could be in a virtual meeting, and it was becoming a more effective school board and becoming a more effective school board member. It was understanding how we operate and what our responses are and what our responses should not be as far as micromanaging, but setting guidelines and guardrails. It was very informative. It was so good.
I would like to see their little snippet of what it was, the little.
It was very, very interesting. The lunch was good. That's why she.
That's my favorite.
Well, we knew that was going to come up eventually. I'm surprised Kevin didn't mention it.
That's my favorite subject.
Yeah.
And any others?
I also enjoyed the conference. I had a chance to walk around quite a bit and see the vendors. And there's a lot of folks that would love to have our money. And that's always an impressive thing to see who's all out there doing the work and doing this. But also it's very affirming that we are chasing the right stuff in a lot of spaces. But I also enjoyed the lunch conversation as much as anything else.
Yes.
To be able to talk about just some of the things around how things are going. So.
Yeah, I always found those fall conferences particularly, because that's the big one for the School Board Association. And I always found it very informative. It gives you a chance to interact with other schools, find out what they're doing, or hear resolutions and solutions to problems, or how they approached items. And it was always very informative. I couldn't go because of my mobility factor, but I'm glad you guys did get to go because it does serve the school very well. Is that all we have on that then?
I would like to say thank you to the school association for allowing us to go. That was a big benefit. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, most definitely, because I very much enjoyed that. It's fun.
Yeah, you do learn a lot there. You really, really do. And I encourage people, the oncoming candidates as well, to attend as many of the spring and fall conference are two of the most important. Kevin has attended several others, but would you agree that spring and fall are probably the most informative?
It's good just to talk to other people and
Yeah.
see, get their experiences. And I'll say for a conference like this size, and I kind of deal with it in my own work too, it's great to have multiple people there because then you can go to different things.
Yeah.
You know, somebody.
Yes, that is very
based on
important.
interest or just, hey, we all need to
Because many
have
years,
some information on this.
yeah, many years we went to separate conferences to get information and then came back and kind of pooled all of the information together because they're at the same time. or even though they offer them at different times, they may be same time as something else you want to see on both categories. So it does pay to have multiple people there. Any other statements? Thank you guys for going, by the way. Next up is future agenda requests, and I have one if you would, please. It is the actual ADM counts of what we had this fall versus last year.
All
And
involved.
break that down by school and class if you could, please.
Yep, sure will.
Any others? Sure, make me the only one. Okay, recognition acknowledgements, we have none. So this will adjourn our school board meeting. Next one will actually be on Friday at 4
PM right here.
PM right here for the tentative agreement.